Hello everyone, this is Tom. Let's talk about live albums. I have about 25 albums I'm going to showcase here that are my favorites. So let's start off here with the Monterey Pop Festival box set. And mainly for the three sets from Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, and Otis Redding. These phenomenal sets of music. The Jimi Hendrix live at Monterey, it's just an amazing performance. To think that these people had no idea what they were in for. And, you know, this guy comes on stage with his incredible talent, blowing minds. And then Janis Joplin as well. Just no one expected that. She was blowing people's minds. And then Otis Redding coming on late in the night and just delivering just a powerhouse of soul. So those are three of my absolute favorite live performances of all time, especially the videos too, add a lot too. But this box set's great. It came out in early '92. It has not complete sets. It does have complete sets of the Janis, Jimmy, and Otis sets, but and I think even the Who sets, but just kind of portions of other sets that some of the other bands performed. But Moby Grape was never included in this box set. So now I really like Live at Leeds by The Who. Fantastic record, even the expanded version. But even more, I absolutely love the live cuts on the soundtrack to The Kids Are All Right. I remember seeing this film back in 1979, along with Neil Young's Rust Never Sleeps. It was an amazing combination of films to watch when you're like, how old was I at the time? About 15. Incredible, or 14. I think it was 14. But I think the cuts on Kids Are All Right are some of the best Who live cuts ever. You have Sparks, Pinball Wizard, and See Me Feel Me from the Woodstock performance, which are just amazing on audio or video. And then a quick one from the Rock and Roll Circus. That's the best version of a quick one I've ever heard from a Who live show. And then I think the definitive versions of Baba O'Reilly and Won't Get Fooled Again performed in 1978, May 78. In fact, the last time they performed with in front of a live audience with Keith Moon. So those are just, they're a little sloppy, but I think that's what's great about them. They're not just perfect, they're very raw. And I always think the definitive versions, live versions of those songs are on here. Baba O'Reilly, Won't Get Fooled Again. And then Young Man's Blues, which is on Live at Leeds, is a great version, but the version on here I think is even better. It's more, really balls out, really just pedal to the metal. And what else do we have on here? We have some early, TV appearances like the Smothers Brothers, My Generation. But I'm holding this up because this has some of my absolute favorite Who live performances throughout their career. I think mainly from about 64 to 78. Also, I love the Bob Marley and the Whalers live albums from 75. It's absolute perfect, but even the 2-disc version of both shows is better. You get more bang for your buck. Both shows recorded at the Lyceum in London, June 17 and 18th, 1975. This is Bob at a very, very good point in his career. A live peak in my opinion. And the song selection is, everything from, let's see, Catch a Fire, Burnin', and the latest album at the time, Natty Dread. And it also has the live version of Trenchtown Rock. Just transcendent stuff, amazing stuff. Bob Marley and the Whalers live, 1975. And then another one of my favorite live albums of all time is the Bob Dylan Live 1966. A show that was mismarked was the Royal Albert Hall concert, but I guess it was Manchester or Newport. Please correct me in the comments. Can't see it without my glasses. So this is an important document here on Dylan's tour. He is no longer doing topical songs. He is doing stream of conscious lyrics and new types of melodies and twists and turns. The first disc is just him acoustic, playing stuff off Bringing It All Back Home, Highway 61 and Blonde and Blonde. And the same thing with side 2, they rev up with the Hawks, basically the band, aka the band, playing behind him. And the crowd is very courteous on the first disc when he's playing folk, playing just with his acoustic guitar, but seems like half the audience is in dismay and the other half is elated hearing the electric stuff. Before, like a Rolling Stones, he tells them to play fucking loud, which they do. There's so many great songs on here. One thing on disc 1 with the acoustic, I think Visions of Johanna is probably the most definitive version of that song, even better than the studio. There's a version, I don't think it's the same version, but there's a version on Biograph, the Biograph collection, which is absolutely amazing, Visions of Johanna. So those live versions of 66, I love the most. And as far as the live stuff, as far as the electric stuff, and side 2, Just Like Tom Thumb's Blues, is amazing. The whole thing is freaking amazing. So this is another favorite of mine. And another favorite of mine too is their Nirvana Live at Reading, 92. This is just a perfect set list and a perfect show. I mean, they're just on fire on this show. It's also available on DVD. I mean, the set list, all the stuff pretty much from Nevermind. You have a few things like All Apologies Before In Utero came out. Then you have some great covers like D7, The Money Will Roll Right In. Just a powerhouse of a record. And on the other side of the coin, I do love the Unplugged record as well. This is a flawless album, very moving record. And it just kind of shows you where they could have gone if Kurt had not killed himself. So there you go. That's another one. And then another favorite too is Tom Waits' Nighthawks at the Diner. It's kind of mocked up as a kind of a cocktail lounge and playing in a cocktail lounge, but it's really just invited guests to the recording studio. But they make it sound like it's, like the cocktail lounge on the corner. Some of his best songs, in my opinion, Nobody, Better Off Without a Wife, Eggs and Sausage. And not only is the music fantastic and the backup playing, but the in-between song banter between Waits is hysterical. Such an entertaining record, musically, comically, you name it. It's fantastic. Love this album. It's a double set from 1975, Nighthawks at the Diner by Tom Waits. And then also Cheap Trick Live at Budacon, another killer record. This is only a portion of the record. I bought this a while back. This is the complete performance. Yeah, they're just on fire on this performance. Uncut. They do a version of Terry Reid's Forever Now or Hold Your Peace. Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Peace on this, which I believe was on their first album. But the versions of Surrender and Clock Strikes 10, I mean, those are just definitive versions. They have way more power than the studio versions. Just a classic album. Cheap Trick Live at Budacon. This is the complete 2-CD version. And then another one that really blows my mind is this Neil Young Live at Massey Hall, 71. It is one of the best recorded shows I've ever heard. It sounds like Neil's in the room with you. Everything is just crystal clear. Every note he plays just rings out with unbelievable clarity. The set list is just flawless. Coming off of Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere. And after the Gold Rush, he also throws in some stuff for the soon-to-be released Harvest. And throws in a few Buffalo Springfield tunes as well. And then on the other side of the coin, I love Rust Never Sleeps from 79. Again, I saw this with The Kids Are All Right in 79 at the theater. And this just has so many great versions of songs. The whole thing is amazing. Powderfinger, Like a Hurricane, Cortez the Killer, Cinnamon Girl, and then the acoustic stuff too as well. Comes a Time, I Am a Child. It's flawless. And then back in September 1981, the Pretenders played at the Santa Monica Civic in California for a night or two. And it was featured on the radio, and someone I knew bootlegged it. And it was one of the most amazing sounding radio broadcasts I ever heard. And just the set was amazing, and the playing was amazing. To get to the point, they released that whole performance here on this Pretenders 2 Super Deluxe. And the whole show is right here. And it is one of the best shows and one of the most played shows I've ever listened to. When I had it on cassette, now I just need to open up this box set here. But it really showcases James Honeyman Scott's just brilliance as a guitarist and how tight they were as a band. And there's just amazing versions of songs like Tattooed Love Boys, Louie Louie, Honeyman Scott pulls off these just amazing licks. So that is an all-time favorite. The Santa Monica Civic show by the Pretenders from September 6th, I believe 1981. And it's now on the Super Deluxe box set of the Pretenders 2. Another one too, of course, is Get Your Yaas Out by the Rolling Stones from 1969. Tumultuous tour that ended with Altamont. I know a lot of these songs are cleaned up in the studio, but I love this period of the Stones live where they're just super raw. And, you know, there's no backup singers, there's no horn sections. It's just the band themselves. And I think Street Fighting Man is one of their best live versions on any Stones live album. Of course, Midnight Rambler, Sympathy for the Devil, Jumpin' Jack Flash, just a classic record. Another great one is Muddy Waters at Newport 1960. There's an incredible version of I'm Your Hoochie Coochie Man. No, it's I've Got My Mojo Working. And it is just unbelievably incredible. Just rocking, raw. And I read somewhere in some review that I guess they said somebody was at the festival saying that businessmen in their business suits were dancing in the aisles joyously. So great blues live album here. Muddy Waters live at Newport 1960. Another great one is XTC's BBC Radio One Live in Concert. This is from their Black Sea tour, just showcasing how amazing XTC were live. Terry Chambers was so tight, such an underrated drummer. You've got Colin Moulding, Andy Partridge, and Dave Gregory, so underrated as a guitarist. And there's some great versions like Battery Brides off Go 2, sounds amazing on this live version. And except for Andy Partridge's voice kind of giving out because it's the last show of that particular leg of the tour in Britain, they are just, they're cooking on this thing. I highly recommend it if any of you XTC fans haven't heard it. It's fantastic. XTC, BBC Radio One Live in Concert from 1980. Another great one I love is The Mothers, just another band from LA. Even just for Billy the Mountain alone, it's just a classic comedy record. Colony Vegetable 2, a must-have. Also, the Kinks, One for the Road, 1980, catching them on their low-budget tour. They're just on fire on this tour. A couple of songs were omitted, Sleepwalker and Laugh on the Road, but just this is kind of a resurgence for the Kinks, the low-budget album and the tour. And kind of every tour from this time on kind of was about the same kind of energy, and they were playing in stadiums after this point, or by this point. Of course, another great one, Almonds live at Fillmore in 71. I just love the 22-minute 49 version of Whipping Post. I never get tired of Whipping Post. Just love that tune. One of my favorite jazz live records is Wynton Kelly Trio with Wes Montgomery, Smoking at the Half Note. This was recorded in 1965, the year I was in diapers. This is just, I play this quite frequently. I love Wes Montgomery's tone. He has an amazing sound, just his fluid playing. And I love Leonard Cohen live at the Isle of Wight Festival in 1970. This is really cool. This was released maybe about 8 years ago. Another great one is Elvis Costello's Live at Hollywood High. This is right before Armed Forces came out. There's a great piano version with vocals of Accidents Will Happen, but the whole show just kicks ass. This is Elvis at an early peak. We also have from, let's see, where is it? Where did I put it? I put it away, the box set, but this is from the Bonfire AC/DC box set. This is live in Paris from the Let There Be Rock movie. They are touring Highway to Hell at this point. This just kicks ass. This is a high point in Bon Scott era. I love Walk All Over You. It just kicks ass. And a little Humble Pie with Steve Marriott, rocking the Fillmore. I Don't Need No Doctor. What a great performer Steve Marriott was live. One of the most charismatic. If you ever get a chance, go on YouTube and watch some of those early Humble Pie shows, or even Small Faces shows. The guy just has natural charisma. Another great one is Replacements live at Maxwell's in 1986, right before Bob Stinson was fired from the band. And last but not least, an incredibly kick-ass album from James Brown. Where is it? Live at Home with His Bad Self, recorded in Augusta, Georgia in '69. This is my favorite James Brown live album. It is so amazing how tight that band is. Highly recommend it. And before I run out of juice here, folks, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.